Yes.
You received petrol? So all are worried about petrol today. This. No problem. So who is our batch rep? Can I see her? Can I see her on the video?
Yes, sir.
Who is our batch rep? Lady or boy? Boy or girl?
Yes.
Boy. No, one day the other girl was telling she is a batch rep. No? Last time? No? There are two batch reps?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my worries is the punctuality. Okay, children. So you have to be punctual. And once I started, don't try to join. But you may have several problems, but well in advance, try to join in my class. Okay? No problem. So up to now, what we have studied, can anyone say from my lectures? Can anyone say what we have studied up to now from the very beginning?
Transpiration.
Yeah, transpiration. Yeah. Someone else?
C3-C4 cycle.
C3-C4 cycle and CAM pathway. Yes. Then?
Respiration.
Photorespiration. Okay. Today, water relations and ascent of sap. So, we have covered very important sectors. Today, we will cover the respiration. Can anyone say what is respiration? Can anyone say what is respiration? Simply, in simplest format.
It is a process. It is oxidize the food.
Yeah, very good. It is oxidize the food. What we have to oxidize the food? What for? Why?
ATP.
Yeah.
Energy purpose. Energy will reduce.
Yeah, it is an energy release process. So, all life, we have to have energy. That energy is a main source is solar energy. Main source is solar energy. So plants, that solar energy is trapped by photosynthesis. So for trapping that energy also, that photosynthetic energy also, we need to have some energy. So all life process, we need energy. So in that process, how we can generate energy to develop some process and whereby we can generate more energy. Therefore, the respiration is most important life process in animals and plants. So where it is happening? Where it is actually the respiration happenings? Tell me. Where it is? It is happening in mitochondria. Okay, it is happening in mitochondria. It is happening in mitochondria. Okay, so now I will share the slides. Then we will go one by one, and in this class, the objective is what is really a respiration, and what is the students will know what is really respiration and what it is used for, where it is happening, and what is the end product, and how it helps to the plants' life and others' life. So then we will see one by one in this class. Then I will share the class today. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is visible. So I have already told this. It is a very important life process. Main sources are what? Carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So major component in the food is this, carbohydrate, fats and protein. So to develop this carbohydrate and fats and protein also, we have to have energy. So Generally, the energy is trapped by the photosynthesis, generally glucose, and then fat. If it is more, glucose, it converted into sucrose and then stored in fats. So then various amino acids are there to produce proteins. Then finally, we will have some the difficult complex or complex molecules will be broken down into smaller particles, whereby the energy is produced. Okay? So we will see the definition. Can anyone see this? Can anyone read this definition? All others listen. Can anyone read, please?
The
Yeah, in general, see, there are certain certain parts we have to understand. Carbohydrate molecules. The energy is stored in carbohydrate molecules. Which energy? Solar energy is stored in carbohydrate molecules. What is the process? Photosynthesis. Then we have to have cellular oxidation. So the major part is cell, where the oxidation takes place. Once the oxidation takes place, there are two major products. One is carbon dioxide and water. For this, what we need? Oxygen we need. Okay? We need oxygen to oxidize, and then carbon dioxide is released. Major portion is carbon dioxide and the water. So this is simpler format. We can see C6H12O6. What is that? Glucose. Yeah. Then it needs 6O2. It emits 6 CO2 plus 6 water molecules, and then energy. So this particular energy, 686 calorie, we will come this particular energy level at the end of my presentation, how it comes and what it being utilized. Okay. So in general, this energy trapped by ATP, adeno triphosphate, or adeno triple phosphate. Okay. This is final, and then we have to have carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Okay? Energy in the form of ATP. So this is what we call respiration in plants. That is the definition. So there are initially I see this one 6C6H12O6. That means the simplest form of carbohydrate. So the carbohydrate formed by the photosynthesis has to be broken down into simpler form. So for this, it's a complex process. The respiration is actually a complex process. It takes in different steps. So I have narrated 5 steps. Can anyone read this? Yeah, that is I have explained now. Yeah, what is the first? Yeah, the first step in the respiration is absorption of oxygen. You see, now I am going to respire. See, but I am taking the oxygen from the air. So the first step in any respiration process, it requires oxygen. Okay? Then second, once it is taken inside, the carbohydrate molecules is oxidized, okay, to form CO2 and water. This is called oxidation process. First one, absorption of O2. The second one, oxidation of food. The third one, can anyone read? Okay. So third one is release of energy. So what we take oxygen to oxidized complex molecule. Once we oxidize the complex molecule, what it happens? Energy is released. So not the total energy is used, but the rest is leaving as a heat. So fourth one. Yeah. Fourth one. Yes. Can anyone read?
Formation of intermediate products playing different roles in metabolism.
Yeah. In this process, there are intermediate products are formed. Those are necessary for metabolic activities. So for the metabolic activities only the energy is required. So the produced energy in the third step is utilized for the metabolic process. Okay? Now, fifth one. Can anyone read? Okay. Let's, yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is a reverse process of photosynthesis. Why we can call reverse? The photosynthesis energy is produced or trapped. Then this respiration is releasing that energy. In photosynthesis, we take carbon dioxide and water for the production of food. But here we release water and carbon dioxide with the energy. So exactly the reverse of photosynthesis. Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Understood? Yeah. It is a reverse of photosynthesis. So there are two different types of respiration. You have studied in A level, I suppose. So with the availability of the oxygen, whether it is enough or not enough, it is present or not present. Accordingly, we are having two major types of respiration. What are those? Can anyone read?
On the bit.
Yeah, no, aerobic. Can you? Yeah, no, aerobic respiration. One is aerobic respiration. Generally, it is common. It is common. But in very few cases only, anaerobic respiration takes place. In general, in animals and plants, aerobic respiration is a common one. Why it happens? In the presence of oxygen. Okay? So when the respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, that is called aerobic respiration. So this is, I have already given you the formula, C6H12O6 plus 6O2 and 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 686 kilogram of kilocalorie of energy. Okay, this is aerobic respiration. So what would be the next? If it is aerobic respiration based on the oxygen, what would be the next?
Anaerobic respiration.
Very good. Anaerobic respiration. So it is direct opposite to that aerobic. Here, oxygen is absent. Okay, but these organics, very microorganisms, especially yeast is available in toddy, naturally available fungus. This particular yeast has an ability to respire under the absence of O2. This is anaerobic respiration. But in the aerobic respiration, the outproducts are what? What are the products? Aerobic respiration. Tell me. We have seen now. Here, see this. What are those? Carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now, here alcohol and carbon dioxide. The energy is also very less produced. So they are 686 kilocalorie, but here 56 kilocalorie. Here the formation is ethyl alcohol. There carbon dioxide and water. Instead of water, here the ethyl alcohol forms. Okay. So there are two types. What are those types of oxygen based on the availability of oxygen?
Aerobic, anaerobic.
Yeah. What is the main product in aerobic respiration? What are the main products?
Carbon dioxide, water, energy.
and energy.
Yeah. What are the main products in anaerobic?
Alcohol, carbon dioxide, energy.
Yeah. Then what about the energy difference? Energy is more in aerobic respiration. Energy is less in anaerobic respiration. Okay. Now, what are the substrates? I have already told you. Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Okay. These are the respiratory substrates available in plants. But in general, carbohydrates and fats will be utilized. If they don't have fat or carbohydrate, they will utilize proteins also for the respiration. But it is not common. What is common? Generally carbohydrate. But if it is not available fat, these are two common. But if both are not available, that is ultimately the proteins will be utilized for the energy production. So you see some diseased persons, they don't take food, they will finally go down. The muscles will go down because the proteins also will be under respiration. So this is special case, but in general, carbohydrates, fats are the major substrates. So what are the substrates? Yeah. Carbohydrates and fats. When the protein is used, very good. Okay, good. We will go to the next. Now, what is the simplest form of all these carbohydrates change? In general, simple hexose sugars, the substrate. Okay, hexose sugars means what? 6 carbon compound, hexose. Okay, that is glucose and fructose. Complex disaccharides means what? Sucrose. So example, we eat glucose for the running waves and all, that is glucose. In foods, fructose. In sugar, we used for tea, that is sucrose. That is dihydrates. Okay. Then polysaccharides, lignin and inulin. Also hemicellulose. So these are the carbohydrates for the respiratory substrates. What are those? Can anyone read it? Yeah, what are those simple hexose sugars? Okay, well, someone can read. Another one?
Complex disaccharides,
sucrose. Another one can read. Polysaccharides.
Polysaccharides, lignin, inulin.
Lignin and inulin. What is the final one is? Hemicellulose. So 4 major compounds under that. Hexose sugars, complex disaccharides, polysaccharides, hemicellulose. Under hexose sugars, glucose and fructose, disaccharides, sucrose, polysaccharides, lignin and inulin, finally hemicellulose. These are the carbohydrate substrates which are utilized for the respiration. Fats. So fats generally it will lead to hydrolysis. 1 minute. I will send the message and down. Okay, yeah, fats. Fats generally, it will be hydrolysis. What is the meaning of hydrolysis? Addition of water molecule. Then it changes into fatty acids and glycerol. An enzyme is working here, that is lipase. Okay? Then these fatty acids and glycerol, again changes into hexosugars. Okay? Understand? Fatty acids are there. It will be hydrolyzed to form glycerol and fatty acids. These fatty acids and glycerols again converted into hexosugars for the respiration. Then proteins. Proteins broken down into amino acids. Enzyme is proteolytic enzyme. So understand the physiology is more or less almost involved in the enzymes. Okay? So the enzymes you have to study and memorize. For protein, we have proteolytic enzymes. So what are produced? I have already told you, but I will explain. This is simple substrates are broken down into, complex substrates are broken down into simpler ones. It is finally liberated. See, these are the things. Final deliverance. See, CO2, water, energy. This energy is trapped in the form of ATP. So remaining part in the energy is lost as heat. This ATP molecule are used for various metabolic processes. This is the product of respiration. CO2, water, energy, ATP and heat. This ATP is used for various metabolic activities. Okay? Can I go to the next slide?
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. So this is another one. Different major steps are there. 3 major steps. We have started initially the major 5 steps. Okay? Absorption of O2, conversion of carbohydrates, then release of energy, the intermediate products, then finally it is a reverse product. We have liberation of CO2. So for this, in general, we have 3 major steps: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport system. You have to keep it in mind. We have 3 different steps in respiration: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport system. So we will see one by one. What are those 3? Can anyone read it? Others can listen. What are those 3 major steps? Yeah, electron transport system. So these 3 are major reasons. Okay, now we will see glycolysis. So the glycolysis can be, it's a different names. Okay, EMP, that means embedded Meyerhoff Peranus pathway, common respiration pathway, cytoplasmic respiration, because it is taken in the cytoplasm. It is a common respiration. So these all are synonyms for the glycolysis. Then, in first step, in all the steps, degradation of glucose to pyruvic acid, that is glycolysis. In the glycolysis, it is glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Okay? But in the absence of O2, okay, water is formed, CO2 and water. Presence of oxygen in the Krebs cycle, the CO2 and water is formed. But in the absence of O2, ethyl alcohol and CO2 is formed. So then the anaerobic respiration also, Krebs cycle takes place. Okay? So can anyone read this, please? So it's good to read by someone else. Up to now you have not read. Up now you have not read. Can anyone read it, please? Yeah, it is taken in the cytoplasm. The glycolysis, fermentation, anaerobic respiration, and lactic acid formation. So all these are happened in cytoplasm only. Yeah. Another one. Can read, please. Anyone can read it. Second one.
In the eukaryotic cells, Krebs cycle occurs in the matrix of mitochondria.
Yeah. So eukaryotic, prokaryotic. You know the difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic. So in the eukaryotic cells, the Krebs cycle is taking place in the matrix of mitochondria. But in the prokaryotic cells, it is surface of mesosome. Okay, so these places are places of respiration in eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. This will appear in the exams. Very carefully, you have to study these. These may be appeared in objective questions. Okay, there is no any other word. Eukaryotic cells, matrix of mitochondria will be the answer. The prokaryotic cells, surface of the mesosome will be the answer where the Krebs cycle is taking place. So all enzymes are needed. This enzyme is cytosol. We call for the soluble in the cytosol only. Enzymes are available. Okay, for the glycolysis. So these enzymes repeatedly needed for the respiration. Respiration is always repeatedly needed to. For that, if the enzymes are repeatedly needed, that enzymes are called constructive enzymes. Okay? Constructive enzyme, because these always is needed. This particular respiration is based on the enzyme. So those enzymes are repeatedly needed. If the repeatedly needed enzymes are called constructive enzymes. So we have studied photorespiration, different steps, different number of enzymes. Like that, here also enzymes. So then finally, in glycolysis, what is happening? 6-carbon compound is broken down into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. That means already 6-carbon compound, it is broken down into 2. So what is happening? 2 3-carbon compounds. Okay? So large number of reactions are taking place in glycolysis. So 3 different phases in glycolysis. We have 3 phases in glycolysis, major 3 phases. Glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport system. Here in the glycolysis, 3 major phases are available. Understood? In general, 3 major steps: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport system. In the glycolysis, we have 3 steps. So, first steps, glucose molecules are phosphorylated. Phosphorylated means what? Addition of phosphate molecule. Therefore, there are 2 ATP molecules are needed to join the glucose molecule to phosphate molecules to insert. We need 2 ATP molecules are needed in first phase. So the first phase, the glycolysis is energy needed process. In second one, 6-carbon compound is broken down into, for example, fructose, 1,6-diphosphate is formed, which is 3 carbon compounds. And then finally, 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde is formed. 3 means the carbon number. Where the aldehyde is formed, the third carbon. Okay, so 3 carbon compounds are formed in second phase 2, breaking up 6 carbon compounds. So these are interconvertible. These 2 3 carbon compounds are interconvertible. Okay? It can change in between. Now, phase 3. Here, in phase 2, what we have formed, 3-PG aldehyde, 3-phosphoglyceric aldehyde is formed. It is going to be degraded in phase 3. Therefore, when it is degraded into 3-phosphoglyceric aldehyde, degraded into pyruvic acid, 4 molecules of ATP are generated. So initially, how much needed? First step, 2 molecules. Now, it is energy release process in the third phase, where 4 ATP molecules are released. So what is the net gain?
2 ATP molecules.
Yeah, 2 molecules is ATP molecules are net gain in the glycolysis. Okay, this you can study later. Then this during this process, this also will happen. You will see 2 ATP molecules are used up because in the phase 1, 2 molecules are used up. In the phase 3, 4 molecules are produced. So the net gain of it is 2 ATP molecules. Okay? Now, in the glycolysis, NADH2 molecules are also produced. Okay? Because in the intermediate process, the NAD is hydrated and the hydrogen is joined and then NADH2 is formed. In this process, 3 ATP molecules are produced. Okay? So altogether, see how much. There 2 molecules are used up. Here 2 molecules are formed. Net molecule 4 molecules. Net gain is 2 molecules. Then now another 3 molecules are formed. So like that, finally there is a total gain of 8 ATP molecules in glycolysis. Understand? Because of this NADH2 process, total of 8 ATP molecules are produced in glycolysis. So this is the steps. We have 9 steps in glycolysis. You sit and study, then you will understand this cycle very carefully. That is a more self-study. Once you sit and study this, you will get how the steps are going on. Generally, 9 steps are there. Okay? In these 9 steps, we have the energy changes accounts also nearby. So this you have to study, and once the escape questions is asked, you have to able to write these cycles and the ATP conversions. Okay? Now, this is Krebs cycle. Now we have completed what we have completed? Glycolysis. Tell me, what is that? Glycolysis. Tell me. Anyone can say what we have completed?
Glycolysis.
Yeah. What is the total ATP produced in glycolysis?
8 ATP.
Very good. 8 ATP. Now, the second phase is Krebs cycle. This is called TCA cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay, tricarboxylic acid cycle. This is an organic acid cycle. It's general organic. Where this is what we call mitochondrial respiration. Okay, this is general oxidation of pyruvate and citric acid cycle. See, all these are called, what is that? Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle is called TCA cycle, organic acid cycle, mitochondrial respiration, oxidation of pyruvate and citric acid. These all are called Krebs cycle. This is the second phase of the respiration. Okay, this is where in the crystate of mitochondria. Okay. in this cycle. First, the carbon atom 3 or 4, 2 or 5, or 1 or 6. This is the number of the carbon. See, six carbons now. Third and fourth carbon, second and fifth carbon, 1 and 6th carbon. Molecules are released from the form of CO2. First and third and fourth carbon is released, then second and fifth carbon is released, finally this one released. So how many carbons are released now? CO2. There are 6 carbon are released as CO2. That's what in the equation we put 6 CO2 molecules. So this is the Krebs cycle. In general, I will teach this, but you have to study by your own. Then only you will have a good memory. So this is pyruvate. This is the end product of glycolysis. Okay. Then it comes the series of chemicals, and then it's complete this cycle. So when it is coming 3 carbon compound pyruvate, then it forms 2 carbon. Then again it changes citric acid to 5 carbon, 4 carbon, 4 carbon, 4 carbon. So this is a cycle, it completes. This is we call citric acid cycle. The Krebs cycle, especially citric acid cycle also there. So in total cycle is called Krebs cycle to study by your own. Okay? So what is the significance of Krebs cycle? So the complex cycles which we cannot explain here. So you have to study, you have to sit and study and drawing the pictures, and then you have to study. So can all are there? Hello? Can everyone raise your hands? Everyone raise your hands, please. Yeah. 82. One is not raising the hand. Where are you? Oh, no. Okay, good. So everyone is listening. In fact, I wanted to see you all by the video. Maybe next time we will see once you have to prepare the class and make yourself to ready for the video so I can see you and see. Okay, now we have completed 2 cycles, glycolysis and then Krebs cycle. Now we are going to see what is the importance, or otherwise what is the significance of one. Can anyone read this one, the first point? There are 5 points, significance. One can read. Thus we have studied now. So in the glycolysis, 8 ATP molecules are formed, and Krebs cycles also molecules, ATP molecules are formed. We will see how much later. And then second one. Yeah, can anyone read?
It is directly related to nitrogen metabolism.
Yeah, it is directly related to nitrogen metabolism. Nitrogen metabolism is important metabolism during protein synthesis. So for the protein synthesis, the energy is released from Krebs cycle. Okay, the third point, someone, please. Hello? Yeah, you can lower your hands. You can lower your hands now. And then anyone can read. It is also intimately related to the fat metabolism. So, nitrogen metabolism, it is related to protein metabolism. Now it is related to fat metabolism. Then third one, it is closely associated with glyoxylate cycle. Glyoxylate cycle is also in the Krebs cycle. This is needed. Then it is related to other metabolic process through its intermediates in one way or other. There are several intermediates in Krebs cycle. See, there are several intermediates, pyruvate, acetate, coenzymes, so they are a ketonate, so succinic malic acid, and several oxaloacetic acid. So there are several metabolites. So all these are important for metabolic activity. So significance, 5 significance points in Krebs cycle. So this is electron transport system. So this is a simple diagram how the electrons are transported. This is the third phase of respiration. Okay, third phase, first one glycolysis, second one Krebs cycle, third one is electron transport. So this will be detailed in this form. So this you have to study by your own. Then only you will get memorized of this whole electron transport procedures. Okay, you will study, and then finally the end product is a must for us. Here, 32 ATP molecules are gained in electron transport chain. So finally, see, this is, I have already told you. In total, the initial slide, what I have called 686 kilocalorie. Okay? Okay? But in final, this total product is finally, all this process will come to 38 ATP molecules. So in this 38 ATP molecules will produce 288.8 kilocalorie. See, initially it is produced in 686 calorie. Now 288.8 kilocalories are ultimate gain. Therefore, once you divide it into 288.8 divided by 686, only 40% is remain. All others are lost by heat. Understand? So, not all the energy are used for the metabolic process. Only the 40% is used for metabolic process by breaking down of these complex formats into simpler formats. And then these energies are used for nitrogenous metabolism, and then fat metabolism, protein synthesis, and all sort of activities. Only 40% is used, but the rest is lost as heat. So this is the summary. You finally see what is the summary. Okay. Now this is the difference between oxidative phosphorylation and photophosphorylation. This is two different. I will one boy can read the oxidative phosphorylation. One girl can read photophosphorylation difference. Shall we start? You lower your hands, please. Lower your hands, please. Any people? Raise your hands and just low. Bring down. Bring down your hands. KG 145. Low down your hand. 020. Low down. Where are you? Low down your hands, please. Ingada 020 Ingada 69 Ingada. Ko Hatanavyaku. Ingada Upranga. Call them. Where are those people? Okay. So now, 154. Where is she or he? Yadusa Tabodan. Sleeping. Madhula Sriskandaraja. Sleeping. Yadusa? No. She's eating. No problem. You eat. At the final exam also, you will be eating. No problem. You just read. Some boy can read the oxidative phosphorylation. A girl can read photophosphorylation. Start. Start read the first difference. Hello? You read this, someone, some boy. One boy can read this.
It occurs during respiration.
Yeah, it occurs during respiration. What is that? Oxidative phosphorylation. This is photophosphorylation. Okay? This is, in general, it is during photosynthesis. This is during respiration. Yeah, I will read it. Okay. In general, this is phosphorylation. It takes place in mitochondria here in chloroplast. Okay. Then this is inner membrane of mitochondria. This is in thylakoids. Then molecular oxygen is needed during terminal oxidation. This oxidation is necessary. Here it is not needed, required. So like that, there are 5 or 6 differences you can study. Now we will see the anaerobic respiration. I have already explained this anaerobic respiration to you. It is production of ethyl alcohol or lactic acid in the absence of O2. Okay. So the pyruvic acid is converted into ethyl alcohol. This process is known as anaerobic. So I have already told you here the 2 ATP molecules are produced. So this is ethanol formation. Lactic acid also forms. Then this is the difference between respiration and photosynthetic. Okay, respiration we have already seen. It is a reverse product process of photosynthesis. So almost all are opposite to each other. Now I will read it. The oxygen is absorbed in the process. We know now, basically in this process what is happening. Oxygen is absorbed. Initially we have seen oxygen is necessary, but in photosynthesis oxygen is liberated. Okay, understood? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. Here the carbon dioxide is the end product. Here carbon dioxide is absorbed to form what is that, to food. Okay, this process is doing day and night. Respiration takes place day and night, but the photosynthesis takes place only in the presence of light. Okay, this is potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. We know the potential energy trapped by the photosynthesis is used into kinetic energy for the metabolic activities. But here, the energy is kinetic energy is converted into potential energy. Then, raw materials used are glucose and oxygen. Here, glucose and oxygens. Once you read the notes and you see all those things, you can generate these more than 12 differences between respiration and photosynthesis. I have given in this slide. You also study and understand the real difference. Best way is to not to see the slide. Before or after studying, you put a difference, photosynthesis and respiration, and finally you see the slides. So the missing points will be you can get. Understand? So you yourself have a table of respiration and photosynthesis. What are the difference between these two major processes in plant? Then finally, this is 38 ATP molecules are formed. Here, 38 molecules are utilized. Okay? Now, we will see the factors affecting 10 minutes we have. Factors affecting respiration. One is, we are, as in all the physiological parameters, internal factors and external factors will affect the physiological process. We have to understand we have to separate into two major divisions: external factor and the internal factor. So like that, when you study, it is very easy. Okay, this is protoplasmic factors, that mean inside the cell. If it is a young cell, it needs more energy. If it is an old cell, it needs less energy. This is a protoplasmic factor. If young meristem, it has to go very quickly. It has to go very quickly, the young meristem. So, see, if it is a young meristem, this is a meristematic tissue. Okay? This particular tissue have to grow very quickly. For the quick growing, we need, it is, where is this? It needs, where's the okay, this particular meristematic tissues should divide it into two. It has to be divided. For this is young cell. For particular this young cell, it needs more energy. So the protoplasm here is little mature than the young leaves. So therefore young portion have very energetic protoplasm. It needs more respiration. So in different cells, once you compare these protoplasm factors, you will see the difference in the respiration. Otherwise, the availability of the substrate, if you have more carbohydrate, it can burn. If you have less carbohydrate, the respiration rate will low. In addition to that, external factor, the temperature. Temperature, if it is beyond 45 degrees centigrade, the respiration stops. Okay, it also varies. Then oxygen, as usual, oxygen is necessary for respiration. So if the oxygen is, if we have more, okay, if we have more oxygen, the oxygen is more. If it is lesser than certain point, that is extinct point, that there the anaerobic respiration takes place. Okay, then light compensation point. This is very much important. When the photosynthetic rate is equal to the respiration rate, okay, that is we call light compensation point. Okay, photosynthesis and the respiration are in the same rate. It can occur at any time in the daytime. This can take place in daytime, anytime, maybe evening, noon or evening, but the rate of photosynthesis and the respirations are equal. That particular light intensity is called light compensation point. Okay? As usual, carbon dioxide, if it is more, the respiration is less. Then inorganic salt and water. Water is a must for photosynthesis. Then if it is that water is also produced by the respiration, if the cells have more water, the respiration will go down. And then injury. If any plants get injury, I have to change this, what is that, cursor. It is not working. So this is a plant. Once it is injured, in this point, it needs more energy. So if it is more energy needed, the respiration is needed to heal this particular injury. So if any injury cells will respire more to recover it. Then this is comparison. dark respiration, photorespiration. Today I have said respiration and the photorespiration. The photorespiration is only light. This is dark respiration. So you have a comparison between these two. You can also study and get understanding with these two. So major three differences I have told. What are the differences? Can we see? These are the first difference. Oxidative phosphorylation and photophosphorylation. And then this is respiration and photosynthesis. And then dark respiration and photorespiration. So all this difference you have to understand, study the notes. Okay? Okay, good. How many of you have received my LMS? Have you read all LMS notes? Have you received my notes?
Yes.
Yeah. That is the PowerPoint. You yourself have to generate notes from various sources. You can refer Salisbury and Ross book. That is a very good book. Salisbury and Ross for your this one. Wait, I will take the book. Salisbury plant physiology. So this is Salisbury and Ross. This is a very standard book. You can download through the e-book. This has entire pictures and figures, and what I am teaching, all these things are available in this book. So you can generate notes from this particular book, or you can refer any kind of notes and have a very good set of notes for the plant physiology. Okay? Will you do this? Raise your hands. Will you do this? Develop a good notes? Yeah, good. Everyone is raising the hand. You develop. Maybe you can interchange what the material you get, and you can have a very good set of notes. We will have midterm, the final, and practical exams. So you have to perform well. Okay? And your term papers are being presented, I suppose. You have completed your term papers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All completed? All completed? Hello? All
Yes, sir.
completed? Yeah, good.
Yes, sir.
Term papers are presented, and the practical notes we have given, and then we will have midterm and final. So my aim is what? To make you all to get more than 90. So you have to study hard. Okay? So you understood the respiration today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And what are the summary? There are what is the, how the why the respiration take place? Why respiration is taking place? Tell me. For the energy. What are the substrates used for respiration?
Glucose and oxygen.
Yeah. Major substrate, carbohydrate,
fat and protein.
and protein. Okay. So what is the end product of aerobic? There are two kinds of respiration. What is it? Aerobic
And anaerobic.
Anaerobic. What is the end product of aerobic respiration?
CO2, H2O, energy.
Energy. What is the end product of anaerobic respiration? Yeah.
CO2 energy.
Okay, CO2 energy. So which respiration is having more energy?
Aerobic.
Yeah. What is happening to the particular energy? How many molecules are ultimately used? ATP. How many ATP molecules are used ultimately? Okay, very good. 288.8. What is the percentage of that one? 40. Good. What are the steps involved in three major steps? Three major steps.
Glycolysis. Electron transit cycle.
Yeah, very good. You understood the subject very clearly. Okay? you are getting my lectures, I suppose. Okay? You are satisfied with my lectures?
Yes, sir.
Summa Salad. Summa Salad. Nikan Kende. Uruna Kende. Okay, good. So you study hard and do the exams. Do you have any class by 10?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, now 10 o'clock. So good. Thank you. Bye. We will meet you in the next class. Have a good day today. You will be happy to be. Okay. You will get petrol and you will get food and everything. Bye.